Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. Unfortunately, yesterday I could not do my daily cricket show due to some personal commitments. So, sorry about that. There was not much cricket to talk about. Probably, I think Australia went on to defeat the United Emirates, Arab Emirates, in a T20 match where the bowlers Andrew Tye really got some sort of hitting. Other than that, there was not much and there was one more news which was there. The ambidextrous Malinda, who was selected, it was a Sri Lankan bowler. I think its name is Malinda, if I'm not wrong. He has been selected. He's a sort of an ambidextrous bowler. When I say ambidextrous, it is because he can bowl left arm spin as well as right arm off spin. So definitely, if the left-handers are there, he can bowl right arm off spin. If the left-handers are there, he can go right-handers there. He can go with his left arm spin. So that is something very handy and something pretty unique as far as international cricket is concerned. And Sri Lanka are going to blood this youngster probably in the solitary T20 that they're going to play against England. Just continuing, so just coming back here, as far as today's cricket show is concerned, Sri Lanka, we know that the fifth match, the fifth one-day international was a mere formality, but it was something for Sri Lanka to salvage something, and they did. And they did it in a very, very hitting manner. As you know, England did experiment. They left out their best batsman. The captain was Josh Butler and not Morgan. Morgan was left out. The two current brothers were playing. Really, I think Sri Lanka had gone with the mission. They went with all guns blazing, as after a long time they hit up a big score. After the last time they did was 377, if I think, against South Africa. But here they made 366. It was really something which was done wonderfully well. Kushal Mendes, who was tremendously out of form, made a great contribution. 56 of 30 balls, which included 6 sixes. Niroshan Dikwala was the man of the match by leading from the front with 95. Chandimal chipped in, and they definitely really attacked the England bowlers, and they had nothing to lose, and they went all guns blazing at the English bowlers, and the English bowlers were really lost as to what was hitting them. And in the end, the England batsmen could not live up to the pressure that was built by Sri Lanka, and finally the match did not go the whole hog. Again, as you know, as it has been happening here in Sri Lanka, we have been seeing rain which has been following them. It happened, but England, it was almost, I would say it's a victory, because England were reduced to 132 for 9, and there was no getting out of jail for England, and the Sri Lankans were the victors by huge margin, and this was the highest margin of victory by Sri Lanka against any team. And I can tell you this was a humongous margin by Sri Lanka. Because if you look at it, they won the match by 219 runs. So that will give you an inkling as to how powerful Sri Lanka were. But at least they got some consolation victory in this ODI series, which Sri Lanka would be happy about. And also what the other things that I have for you on this cricket show today is the second one-day international which is coming up between India and West Indies at Visakhapatnam. Which I'll be just having a brief preview of that, and also Sri Lanka take on Zimbabwe in the second ODI after Bangladesh won. Not Sri Lanka, Bangladesh and Zimbabwe as the second ODI which is coming up. So, but first we are heading towards the match, the Sri Lanka versus England ODI, and let's have a look. So Sri Lanka were the ones who batted first here, and they were in some tremendous nick. They won the toss, elected to bat first. England went on an experimentation basis as they had already won the series, and Sri Lanka started off in a real blaze. Niroshan Dikwala and Samara Vikrama putting on a very, very good opening stand of 137 runs for the first wicket in almost 19 overs, 19.1 overs to be precise. And this partnership went on. Dikwala played in his own fashion, unveiling all his strokes. Samara Vikrama also did a job in which Samara Vikrama went on to make his maiden 50 in ODIs, in only probably his sixth one-day international of his career. and he did it very well. He played some bold strokes today, which was good to see. He went over the top and he drove well, as Samara Vikrama's contribution was 54 of 48 deliveries, which included 8 fours. Dikwala led from the front with a very good knock of 95 of 97 balls, which had 12 fours written all over it, which was done. Chandimal, after a long time, getting his first 50 in this ODI series, and as a captain, he would have felt mighty relieved, as he made 80 of 73 deliveries, 6 fours and 2 sixes in that knock. But Kushal Mendis was the one who would have been greatly relieved. In fact, if you look at his scorecard, if you look at his scores, he had 3 consecutive blobs and then probably made 5 runs in the fourth ODI, but he was still persisted with, because one knows that Kushal Mendis has been likened to one of the living legends in Sri Lankan cricket, Kumar Sangakkara, and Kushal Mendis definitely did that today. Oh, what a! I mean, if you look at his knock, he would have been the one who have been greatly relieved, because the Sri Lankans actually persisted with him despite his poor showing, and he really played a majestic knock of 56 of 33 deliveries, which included 6 sixes. I mean, he was really putting the bat to the ball. The spinners were disappearing into the terraces, and then it did not really help him. And one of the stroke that stood out was this is more on the offside of the bowling of the left arm pace bowler Sam Curran, which was a real marvel according to me. And after that, Shanaka made 18 of 11 with 3 boundaries. Thisra Pereira was out for 11. Dhananjaya De Silva was not out of 19 of 15, 1 4 1 6. Dhananjaya not out of 18 of 11, 1 4 1 6. And the English bowlers were totally rammed to all parts of the field, and they were really surprised as to what was hitting them after taking a 3-0 lead here in the 5-match ODI series and winning the series. But definitely Sri Lanka did a wonderful job here of racking up a score of 366 for 6, which was very well done, one thought, by the Sri Lankans. And look at the bowling. The bowling was really, as I said, they were rammed to all parts of the field. There was no bowler whom you could single out that they bowled with a semblance of respectability. Probably Adil Rashid, 10 overs, 1 for 52. But other than that, Mark Wood, 8 overs, slammed for 55 without a wicket. Sam Curran, 6 overs, disappearing for 46 without a wicket. Tom Curran, his brother, was pillaged for 71 runs of 8 overs with 2 wickets. Moeen Ali carted for 57 runs of his 8 overs with 2 wickets. Adil Rashid, the man, only one man you could probably single out, because everybody were averaging around 50. So Adil Rashid, 10 overs, no maiden, 1 for 52. Plunkett, getting his first game here, was really, I would say, he was really pilloried for 44 runs of his 5 overs with 1 wicket. Ben Stokes, 5 overs, none for 34. Now it was the turn for England to chase a total of 367 to win, and because of the rain which has been following, the target was pruned down to 352 runs from 26.1 overs, and that was a really big ask for the Englishman. And we saw that with Kasun Rajita, starting it all by bowling a wonderful Yorker to Jason Roy, cleaned him up, and Roy was totally gone. The ball went and hit the off stump. It was really a very good delivery from Kasun Rajita, cleaned him up totally. So that was the first wicket. After that, if you look at the card there, Dushmantha Chamira came into his own today as he knocked back wickets, and it was in the quest for quick runs that England kept on looking the wickets. Alex Hales was caught superbly by the confident Kushal Mendis, who had already hit form, and he was the one who took a good catch in the slip region, and Chamira, with some excellent line, got Hales' wicket for duck. Joe Root was the next to go, caught by Samarakrama, another good catch taken, with the Sri Lankan fielding really perking up here after quite a long time, and at the backward point, snapping up a nice catch there, Joe Root. Samara Vikrama of the bowling of Chamira for 10. After that, we had the acting captain Josh Butler. That was a big wicket, and Josh Butler was dismissed for naught. He got a ball which is outside the off stump. He wanted to steer it, and he got an outside edge. In fact, Chamira did very smartly. He saw Butler coming down the wicket. He got the ball to nip away. It had taken the edge of the bat and nicely settled in Dikwala's hands behind the stumps. So he was gone for a duck, and the England score was looking very shaky at that stage, with 4 for 3 with Butler gone. And after that, it was a real procession according to me. Joe Root, and then finally, if you look at the score there, 28 for 4 when Joe Root left the scene. And then we had a partnership. There are only 2 batsmen who really came to some sort of terms with Sri Lankan bowling. One was Ben Stokes, making 67 of 60 balls with 12 fours, but the task was becoming all too impossible. Moeen Ali hit 37 of 37, dealt with 5 fours and 1 6. That was a partnership which was keeping some hope going for England, with some very good runs added by this pair, which almost added 79 runs in 11 overs. At least they kept up they really kept up the fight going. But with those 2 wickets gone, with the spinner Akila Dhananjaya getting both these wickets of Stokes and Moeen Ali, things were really getting. But they still had Sam Curran in the locker, but Sam Curran was consumed by De Silva for 2. Adil Rashid was out for 4. Plunkett for 5. The very, very strong batting lineup, which bats almost till the tail, could not do much. It was all over. The rains came in, and England had mustered 132 for 9 at the stage. And as I said, Sri Lanka winning by a very huge margin of 290 runs. This is the biggest margin of victory that Sri Lanka had in a one-day international, and that was very well done. Kasun Rajit up 5 overs, 1 for 21. Chamira was the pick of the bowler, 6 overs, no made, and 3 for 20. Pereira 2 overs for 18. 4 overs, 1 for 18 for Dhananjaya De Silva. Akila Dhananjaya did a wonderful job in snaking through the English batting order. 6.1 overs, no made, and 4 for 19. Sandakan was the most costliest, 3 overs for 35. Thus entered the ODI series with England winning the 5-match series 3-1. Player of the match going to Nireshwan Dikwala, and player of the series without a doubt, it was the England captain Morgan, who was not playing this match, but thoroughly deserved the Man of the Series award for his very consistent showing in this ODI series against Sri Lanka, and which augurs well for them with the Test series also coming up. Okay, now this is as far as so that is over. So that is from this particular place where in England we shift off to 2 previews which are coming up. Very brief previews at that, not going to be on a large basis. We are talking about the second ODI which is coming up between West Indies and India. It's going to be played at Vishakhapatnam, and the first ODI, as you know, India won the first ODI to be 1-0 in the series. So let's look at the West Indies team and what West Indies are planning to do after losing the first ODI. So now again they are going to go with the same pair. Now Chandrapal Hemraj made his debut, so definitely he would have learnt a few things, and one would probably one is hoping to see some talent of this bloke Chandrapal Hemraj, who has been thrusted as an opener with Kieron Powell. Shai Hope, definitely a wonderful player for West Indies, no doubt. Shimron Hetmyer has been really, even the West Indian captain has really talked a lot about him, that there are a lot of more knocks that Shimron, and I'm sure Shimron Hetmyer is a very, very talented bloke. He got a century in that first ODI. Marlon Samuels will be expected to deliver the goods now, because he's one experienced bloke in this West Indies side, vastly experienced, and one would look out for some one would expect Marlon Samuels to deliver the goods on the second ODI. And then they have a fleet of all-rounders in the form of Roman Powell, Jason Holder himself, Ashley Nurse. Tomorrow it will be interesting to see whether Kimo Paul, who can also bat a bit, come in place of O'Shane Thomas. It will be interesting to see. or Fabian Allen, who did well in the CPL, whether he would be trusted in place of Ashley Nurse, because the spinners have not been able to really dominate the Indians. As we all know, the Indians are good players of spin, and Bishu and Nurse have been struggling. And then Kemar Roach himself could not really make a mark in the first ODI. Phil Simmons has mentioned that Obed McCoy, the left-arm quick who did wonderfully well in the CPL 2018, is one option that West Indies have to explore. He feels that he's one bowler who could really trouble the Indian batsman with his left-arm pace and angle. And why not? It's something that they need to try. So why not get Obed McCoy in place of O'Shane Thomas? Whether that is something that West Indies are pondering, one does not know. One has to wait and see. They are probably pondering upon bringing a left-arm spinner, Fabian Allen, into the mix, who can also bat as well. So that will probably bring in left-arm spinners. So it will be. So it is really something that one has to wait and watch. As far as India are concerned, I reckon they are going to go with the same combination. There's not going to be any much changes. Team is looking very good. Shikhar Dhawan probably missed out, but he's someone who can easily get into form. I think Indian team is looking very strong. But Sri Lanka, it's all about the West Indians who have to really work hard. Now it will be interesting to see that Solomon Hetmir, who made a century, was the bunny rabbit of Kuldeep Yadav, as you would remember in the Test series. Now Kuldeep Yadav didn't play, as we remember, in the previous match. Now whether India will be tempted to bring in Kuldeep Yadav in place of Ravindra Jadeja by sacrificing a batsman, whether that is going to happen. But Ravindra Jadeja, also not far behind, has been doing a good job. So probably they might be thinking, but it's not really ideal to just for one player you bring another bowler. I think it's better to go with a winning combination. Okay, now let's have a look at the second ODI between Zimbabwe and Bangladesh, which is coming up, and that is something where Bangladesh have already taken the lead in the ODI series. Now what one is looking at is and the weather is going to be dry, it seems, and we are going to have a look at the Zimbabwean team, because Zimbabweans are the ones who are trailing right now in this particular one-day series. For Zimbabwe, the big guns have not been firing, and that is something a sort of a really a very concerning thing. But the Zimbabwean coach, the full-time coach Lalsan Rajput of India, has really mentioned that it's time for Zimbabwe to come up with a big score, and why not? So what one is expecting from Zimbabwe is the big guns have to fire. One is the opener Hamilton Masakadza, who has to fire, the captain of the team as well. So he is one who has to really fire on all cylinders, because he's the one who would be opening with his explosive opener Sefas Zuawo, who only knows one thing, and that is the ball is to be hit. And then they have the solidity of Craig Irvine. Brendan Taylor has not done anything of note, and that is something one is waiting to happen. Sikandar Raza, one knows that he's very talented. So if you look at paper, the Zimbabwean team is looking pretty strong, but it's all about delivering on the side. So if they can get Masakadza, Taylor and Sikandar Raza to hit form at the same time, I think they would prove quite dangerous for Bangladesh. Sean Williams, Peter Moore, or whether they are probably thinking of getting Tarisan Sakhanda into the match. Donald Trapano, Brandon Mota is a very exciting leg spinning all-rounder, and the bowling will be in the hands of Kyle Jarvis and Tendai Chatara, did very well, I thought, in the first ODI. Bangladesh, they have Imrul Kais, who has already hit form with a century. So they would be to be Ritan Das and Imrul Kais opening. Ritan Das will be expected to run into some form. Fazle Mahmood would be persisted with, even though he failed in the first match, where he got a real lifter, which forced him to get out. Mushfiqur Rahim, and the experience is in the hands of Mushfiqur Rahim and Mahmudullah. Mohammad Mithun has always, one has seen that whenever he goes out to bat, he has that real determination there, and he definitely has been scoring at a consistent rate. And then they have the bowlers, Mashraf Murtaza himself, the captain, Nazmul Islam, who did a wonderful job, I thought, in the first, where he picked up some vital wickets and with his spin, where he really befuddled the Zimbabwean batsman Brendan Taylor and Sukandar Raza. 2 big wickets at that. Mohammad Saifuddin has already got his maiden 50, so his confidence would be really sky high right now. Mehdi Hossain Miraz, one of the quality spinners from Bangladesh. Mashraf Murtaza and Mustafizur Rahman, who has been doing a wonderful job. He has been doing a very, very good job right now as far as 2018 is concerned. And I'm told he has picked up a lot of wickets as well. So definitely one is looking out for it. So well, dear fans and subscribers, that's about it as far as today's cricket show goes. It's about time for me to wind up on this cricket show today by bidding you all a very good night. Thank you.